Today, October 31st, 2025, many are thinking about masks, shadows, and things that aren't what they seem. This is a fitting backdrop for a spiritual truth. Hebrews 9:1-15 makes us look behind the curtain of religious activity. It puts outer rituals against true cleansing of the soul. Can our religious practices, no matter how heartfelt, clean up the deep mess inside us? The writer of Hebrews says, no. He points us to a deeper, lasting solution. This isn't an attack on tradition, but an invitation to understand their purpose. The law, the tabernacle, the priests, the sacrifices. A divinely arranged system rich in symbols. Yet, all of it was a stand-in, a shadow pointing to something greater. The blueprint is important, but you don't live in a blueprint. Christ is the finished home. He frees us from the treadmill of performance to the final cleansing of the heart. To grasp Hebrews 9, let's go back in time and step into the world of the first covenant. Israel's portable sanctuary, a place of respect and order. Two parts, the holy place and the most holy place. Lampstand, table, holy bread, signs of God's provision and light. Beyond the veil, the Holy of Holies, the Ark, and the mercy seat. God's symbolic throne room on earth, access strictly limited. Once a year, and never without blood, sin creates a barrier between humans and God. A physical and sensory lesson plan. Every detail taught about holiness and the seriousness of sin. The repetition reminded them that sin is daily and the shadow remains. The system pointed to a bigger reality, not the final answer. Rituals dealt with outside uncleanness, food, drink, washings, until a new order came. They brought people back into the community, but didn't get to the inner source of sin or calm the conscience. Cleaning the surface doesn't heal the source. Temporary covering, never a change of heart. If the blood of bulls and goats was enough, the offerings would have stopped. Their work was never finished. Proof it wasn't enough. The law pointed to the destination. It wasn't the destination itself. A perfect priest and a perfect sacrifice were needed. The types and shadows waited for the real thing. The gap was shown, not filled. More than ritual was needed. But when Christ came as high priest, this is the start of the new order. He doesn't go into the earthly copy. He goes into heaven itself, into the Father's presence. His sacrifice is of a different kind. He enters through his own blood, the priest and the offering in one person. A willing act of love, infinitely precious and personal. He obtained eternal redemption, not temporary, not repeatable, never replaced, once for all. The veil is torn, from limited access to open access for those in him. This isn't a renovation of the old. He opened the doors to the real thing. If the blood of goats and bulls made people holy for outward purity, how much more will the blood of Christ cleanse our consciences from dead works to serve the living God? Argument of superiority, from outside to inside. Rituals cleanse the body. Christ cleanses the conscience. Guilt leads to dead works. Grace leads to living service. He offered himself through the eternal Spirit, a perfect sacrifice without flaw. The debt is paid, the conscience set free. We serve because we are accepted, not to be accepted. Not the effort of a slave, but the joy of a child. On the outside similar, on the inside totally different. Understanding the finality of the sacrifice has real meaning today. Why do I go to church, pray, give? Duty, fear, spiritual brownie points, or a joyful response to grace? Don't rely on actions, but on Christ. The blood of Christ cleanses the conscience. No more need to pretend, to come close with our real struggles, our shame, without cleaning ourselves up first. The new covenant invites closeness, not distance, a service that becomes a source of life, out of love for others. Our hearts love to perform. Let's remember every day that everything rests on Christ. Our hope is anchored behind the veil, eternal redemption gained, freed from the never-ending cycle of ritual and effort. Hebrews 9 breaks down performance-based spirituality to show its true purpose. The tabernacle, the priesthood, the sacrifices, temporary tools, shadows of the real thing in Christ. Rituals point, they don't save. Prayer, worship, service, sacraments. Not ladders to heaven, but celebrations of what Christ has done. Family habits, not work requirements. Dead works, or serving the living God. The difference is huge. On this evening of masks and pretending, Let's take off the masks of religious performance. Stand before God, not on your own goodness, but on the finished work of Christ. Stop your striving. Receive eternal redemption, once for all.